I hope you're going to have a great day. Hey, it's Gary Cox, and today we're going to be talking about the 4 keys to financial wealth through sales. So I want to share with you these 4 things, and these are 4 things that you have to learn to absolutely master. All right? So here's the first one. Number 1, you have to fill your pipeline. You've got to fill your pipeline. Underneath that, the next thing is once we've got that filled, what do? We've got to be persistent. And then under this, we have to follow through or follow up. We have to follow up. Write this down if you're not. Follow up. And number 4, we've got to close the sale. My question to you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where are you? So we've got a 1 to 10 here, a 1 to 10 here, a 1 to 10 here, and a 1 to 10 here. My goal for you is to be at a 10. You've got to work to being at a 10. 10 is where you want to be. If you can be a 10 at all of these, you have an incredible amount of financial wealth ahead of you. If you're already there, you already know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking to the choir on this one, right? So my question to you then, where are you on this, a 1 to 10? Let's say if you were to say 3, you could be a 10 over here, but if you don't have anything in your pipeline, what good is the ability to close the sale if you have nobody to close the sale or talk to? What about persistent? Let's say you're a 5 here and maybe follow up a 7 here. You're still not on all cylinders. You're still not going to tap into anywhere close to your potential. Now what's interesting, of all 4 of these things, I would say that these 3 are all head games. Now don't confuse persistence with follow-up. That can be another subject later on. But these 3 here are head games. People are not often persistent because they give up too easily, or maybe there's some things in their past that slow them down, or when somebody says no to them, they take it so personally that they feel that pain of rejection. So now because they feel that pain of rejection, they associate that pain as very, very painful, for lack of a better way of putting it, but so much so that it's hard for them to make another phone call and be persistent again because they're afraid of receiving some more of that rejection or some more of that emotional pain. Well, that's a head game. If that's not cleaned up, then that person's going to be maybe at a 2 or less, who knows. Then what about follow-up? We've got to keep following up. Do you have a system in place where you know to follow up? For example, in my company, if I have somebody in my office email, let's say maybe a producer for a TV show, they know when they email that producer to have some type of a reminder 2 days later that they don't have to think about it. That reminder is going to pop up for them, and what do? They re-email and follow up again. So that's also a head game. So if we're not careful, we'll be thinking, if I follow up again, they might bug me, or I don't know what they're going to think, or obviously they're not calling me because they're not interested, and you go through all that nonsense. That's also a head game. The ability to close the sale, that's a true head game. People will say, well, when somebody says no, obviously they're not interested, and I don't want to say something again after that because I don't want to sound as if I am pushy. That's also a head game. That's a story that you've bought into. So your goal is to master this where you have a 10 on every single one of them. And if you can master this, your financial future is really pretty secure and locked in. So you've got to be honest with yourself now. Where are you on any one of these between 1 and 10? And if you're not at a 10, take some time, and lots of time, and focus on whatever it takes to clean up your head game to get you from a 5 to a 10, a 7 to a 10, or whatever it is. This is a head game. Sometimes this is because to fill up the pipeline, you have to ask for referral, so that's a head game. Maybe you feel uncomfortable asking, but there's also other ways to fill up your pipeline as well. So there you have it. These are 4 keys to wealth in sales. Make sure you master them. And when you have a head game, figure out what's going on in your head that's keeping you from a 10. Stop, think about it. Just don't say, well, I'm a 3, I need to get to a 10. Why? Why are we not a 10? Stop and ask yourself, what are the things that are going on in my head that keep me from being more persistent? Tell yourself what those things are. Know what they are. Understand what they are. And then, now that you've got them, write them down. And your goal now is to break through that and master that and figure out how to change your belief system or your stories or your value system. So now you can take this from a 3 to a 7 to a 10 or whatever. When you have this mastered, it's incredible what will happen to you financially. All right, so study this, master this. This is something that you'll hear me talk about often. I talk about this with my team all of the time because I know how incredibly powerful this is. Master these 4 things and you will have wealth in sales. Have an awesome day.